It appears things got heated between Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, and Molly Qerim on ESPN First Take. It appears that Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe had Molly Qerim cornered, and it seemed to be that she was like a defenseless receiver while they both took shots at her. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, things got ugly on the set of ESPN First Take between Molly Qerim, Stephen A. Smith, and Shannon Sharpe. Man, it appeared that they had Molly Qerim cornered, and she was like a defenseless receiver, and they was just taking shots at her. We all know the WNBA produces some awkward moments, and let's take a walk down the timeline because y'all all remember when Monica McNutt was on the show and they was talking about the WNBA and what the WNBA was in store for once that rookie class came into the league, featuring Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, so on and so down the line with Aaliyah Edwards and things like that. And they was talking about Caitlin Clark on the eyes that she will bring to the WNBA and the revenue that she's going to draw. And Monica McNutt basically told Stephen A, like, now all of a sudden y'all want to cover the WNBA. And she basically called Stephen A. Smith out and said, well, you could have been covering the WNBA 3 years ago on your platform. And Stephen A. took offense to that, and he got, defensive and came back at Monica McNutt. So now we fast forward to all the women on ESPN that have said their take about, Caitlin Clark and all the other rookies, what they're bringing to the table. So apparently Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe have kept receipts of the women coming at them about the comparisons between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And a lot of people, took exception to when Caitlin Clark was left off of the Olympic team. And Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith, they've been brash and boast about Caitlin Clark should have been on that Olympic team, but the United States Olympic team was going to win gold regardless if Caitlin Clark was on there regardless. But Stephen A. was talking about from the marketing standpoint and for the viewership and for the money draw, she would put eyes on that game. So what happened was that they kept receipts, and now they found a great time to really start going back at these women. And it seemed like they teamed up on Molly Qerim because she didn't have the girls with her. And in one part of this segment that we're going to listen to, Molly was like, we're going to revisit that when we got Monica, Shanae, and Cheryl all available. But Stephen A. Smith actually downplays that and says Cheryl got her own issues, so we'll deal with that later. But it seemed like, man, they was going at Molly Qerim, and I felt bad for Molly Qerim. But in a situation, sometimes Molly Qerim, as a moderator, when she gets caught up in these debates, she just needs to fall back a little bit and be the moderator. She has some good takes at some times, but when she gets caught up in a crossfire with some of these debates, they just make her look bad, and it makes her feel bad. At one point, I looked at Molly like, she actually was gonna, shed a tear or something. But Stephen A. Smith went at her hard, and Shannon Sharpe went at her hard too. But we're gonna take a listen because now, Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith found the right time to really brag and boast, because since the Olympic break, Caitlin Clark been playing out of this world, and they got stuff to back up what they're saying, and they just picked the right time to come at Molly Qerim. So let's take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe said. I'm gonna play a little clip, and then we're gonna get back, and then we're gonna finish the audio version of that. So let's take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe have to say.
I'm I'm disappointed in you. And Molly, I'm disappointed in you. I'm just because the kind of heat that me and Shannon have had to take. Molly, what's up? You understand? Because here's where I'm at, Molly. Where all the ladies at? What did I say? Who's the bad guy? Shay. We were the bad guys. Me and you. We were talking about this girl, Caitlin Clark. Oh, let me throw this out. By the way, Rookie of the Year.
That anybody didn't think she was going to be successful or not play. It was just that we felt the other players in the W deserve shine as well.
Molly. I said,
really, Molly?
Wow. They jumped on us. They jumped on us, Molly.
Now, you see how Shannon Sharpe goes out of his way to really be boisterous and animated over Caitlin Clark. Now, let's listen to the audio, the complete audio from where we left off at this clip, and listen how it all played out. Take a listen.
Joe, when we talk about it, Caitlin Clark, all the ladies out there, I love them. Monica, Andrea, Janae, all of yous. I'm looking for everybody, okay? I ain't gonna look for Cheryl Swoop. She got issues right now. I understand that. You understand when people getting on about Caitlin Clark. We'll talk about that another day. But here's where we gonna stay on Caitlin Clark for a second here, okay? There is no question. The race for Rookie of the Year is over. After what they did to the Sky, after they won their 4th straight, after they're over 500, they were just 500 the other day for the first time in 2 years when they were 2-2. They doing their thing. And Caitlin Clark, last 12 games, 23.4 points or 47% shooting, second leading scorer in the entire WNBA behind the monster that is A'ja Wilson, who's going to be league MVP and deserves, by the way, the reigning 2-time champion, who probably is going to 3-peat in my estimation. She is just something special. Best player in the world as far as I'm concerned, okay? We got that going on. 10.6 assists for Caitlin Clark. Leads the league. She's the league assist leader, okay? 9-3 since July 6th. Third best record in the WNBA over this time behind Minnesota and the New York Liberty. And I already added that they won 4 straight. And they're in the 6th seed, just 2.5 games out of the 5th seed. Caitlin Clark has been flat out balling. And she has elevated her level of play to a point. There is no debate. I understand Angel Reese has been doing a thing with the double-doubles, like 24 straight double-doubles and all of this. Major props to her, and she deserves, she's going to be number 2. But Caitlin Clark going to win Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark is in the conversation. She ain't going to win it because A'ja Wilson there. But Caitlin Clark is in the conversation for league MVP. I don't know if y'all already know that, but she in the conversation. League MVP as a rookie. So when I talked about her Team USA, and I talked about what she was bringing to the table, and I talked about her marketability and how she's selling out everywhere she goes and the whole bit, where everybody at now? Have you seen them, Shay? I mean, I haven't seen anybody. You seen them? I haven't seen them.
Man, so right there, man, it got heated, man. And I felt bad for Molly Qerim, man, because they double-teamed her, man. They actually pinned her in a corner, like I said, like a defenseless receiver, and they was taking shots at her, and she couldn't defend herself because what started it was all the female analysts, talking about the whole situation with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA and the other rookies, like Molly Qerim said, just give praise to some of the people that, laid the groundwork. And, Shannon Sharpe went off to say, are they still playing? Well, Shannon Sharpe, you was a football player, man. People laid the groundwork for you to get into the NFL to play the tight end position the way you played it. You patterned your game after somebody. It was somebody that you watched. It was somebody that, they gave their flowers to, and that's all Molly was saying. But sometimes when debates like this happen, Molly Qerim gets caught up in between, and I just think sometimes Molly Qerim just needs to stick to the moderator and not put herself in that position. But she said they're going to revisit it because, Monica McNutt opened up a can of worms back when she told Stephen A. And I think Stephen A. is holding on to that. He's holding on to the receipts. But at this time, Stephen A., he waited to come out when the time was right because Caitlin Clark has backed up everything that he has said in his soliloquy because she's flat out balling in the second half of the WNBA season. So Shannon Sharpe stuck his chest out. He said it with his chest. And Shannon Sharpe kind of piggybacked off of that. And Molly, I felt bad for her, But she said the girls are going to come back. I know the girl because, you know, he took a little parting shot at Cheryl Swoops, and we're going to see how that's going to pan out. But you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast and what y'all think about the comments Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe said and how y'all feel about Molly Qerim getting caught up in the crossfire. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K. Sapp. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces. And remember, before you leave and when you put your shoes on, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you got your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And we're out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.